Let's just do, if I write anything on the board, will you just aim it to the
Yes,
board?
ma'am.
Okay. Let's just do a quick review of
For
what
10
we
points.
covered in Chapter 2. We looked at the T accounts and we labeled those in the demo problem with the DR and CR.
Correct.
DR means what?
Increase.
Debit, and it means
The left hand.
left.
Yes.
CR means credit, and
Right.
that means
Right.
right. All right, that's all it means. In double entry accounting, certain accounts are on the left, certain accounts are on the right. We increase an account where?
On the normal balance.
On the normal balance side, and we decrease an account
On the opposite.
opposite the normal balance. So we have to memorize then where the normal balance is. Cash is the one that I want you to memorize first. Cash is what type of an account?
It's an asset.
Asset.
It's an asset, and its normal balance, when we look at the accounting equation, is assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. So its normal balance is where?
On the left.
On the left.
On the left. If we debit cash in a transaction, what does the other account have to be?
Credit.
The credit. If we credit cash, what does the other account have to be?
Debit.
A debit. Now, there's another way that you can remember that. If we are taking money in, we're making a deposit, we're headed off to the bank, merrily off to the bank with our money, and we're going to make a deposit. That starts with a D. That might help you remember debit, taking in cash. If we're paying cash, we're probably writing a check. You know, we talk about cash, but is it really dollars, $5, $1, $10, $20, $100 bills?
Most likely not.
It's
probably a
not. It's a check. All right, so if we're paying cash, we're writing a check, and that starts with a C. So I think that might be another way just to help you remember whether it's a deposit or whether it's a check, whether we're taking money in, whether we're paying money out. And if you know cash, then you'll know that the other account has to be the opposite. If cash is a debit, the other account's a credit. If cash is a credit, the other account is a debit. Now that's if we don't have a compound entry. And if we have a compound, we have more than two accounts. Just a simple entry is just two accounts. What else did we cover in Chapter 2? Oh, we did a trial balance. That was the first time that we did a trial balance. In computerized accounting, all we have to do is push a button and it will add our debits and add our credits and make sure that our balance is equal. I think you have a trial balance on the test. I copied the test, but I forgot to take another look at it. But a trial balance just gives you one more chance to make sure that your debits and credits equal, and you're just going to list what's on the debit side and what's on the credit side. Sometimes you can see the account number on a trial balance. What kind of a date does a trial balance have?
The last day of the month.
A specific date. Could we run a trial balance on the 15th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't want to just say last day of the month.
Any day that
It's
the
a
owner.
specific date.
Yeah.
And the balance sheet is a specific date. The other financial statements have month ended, quarter ended, year ended, week ended. It has a fiscal period. How do you spell that word?
FISCAL.
Very good. Fiscal period. It's just whatever period we're trying to see whether we had a profit or whether we didn't have a profit. In Chapter 3, we also did the 3 financial statements. What is the first one that we prepare?
Income statement.
The income statement. What accounts go on the income statement? Give me the mnemonic I gave you.
Nice.
ICE. When you get your test on Tuesday, write that above the income statement, ICE. That's not cheating if you're doing that as soon as I pass out the test, is it? That's your memory aid. That's your mnemonic. Right? Mnemonics can really help you remember things. One of my classes that I had at Virginia Tech, we had to remember 100 words 100 words that were just words. They weren't all nouns. Some of them were verbs. They were just words. And the only way we could memorize those words, and we just heard them one time, he read off 100 words, and then we had to write them down. No notes while he was reading them. So it's a mnemonic that you have to help to remember those words. I use peg words. I can do 1 through 10. 1 is usually sun. 2 is tree. 3 is tree. 2 is shoe. You have to have a peg word to connect that word that you're hearing to those words that you've memorized. You can memorize 10 words, and then you have to visualize what that word is. We'll do a grocery list in here one day, or a picnic list, some kind of a list that we need to remember, and then I'll make that extra credit on the test. No notes, just see if you can remember it. But mnemonics are powerful things. How do you remember what order you do mathematical functions?
PEMDAS?
PEMDAS.
My very educated mother just served up what? Isn't that the math bar?
No,
Or is that the planets?
that's the planet.
Oh,
I didn't know what
okay,
they-
so I'd be
You
writing
off
the wrong
me, girl.
person. Okay.
You,
How
we
do
were
we-
out there though.
How do
You
we,
were out there with that sun.
how do we remember? Okay, what is the, what's the math function?
PEMDAS.
Please, what's the
Please
first one?
excuse my dear Aunt
Please
Sally.
excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right? So you can, I gave you the planets.
Yeah.
My very educated mother just served up 9, and we can't use pizzas anymore because Pluto got demoted, so
Yeah.
nachos. How do you remember the Great Lakes? What are the Great Lakes?
Lake Michigan.
Michigan.
Oh. You want the mnemonic for that? Do you want to be a millionaire? HOMES.
We can't phone
Turn
them.
the camera around this way, Doug. How do we remember the Great Lakes?
Huron,
Huron,
Ontario, Michigan, Erie,
Superior.
Superior.
Wow.
Right? Mnemonics. I never could remember how to spell geography when I was in elementary school. It was always on the spelling test. George Edwards' old grandfather rode a pony home yesterday. I never got it wrong. Now, wouldn't it have been easier just to remember how to spell geography? But I made up a mnemonic. Whatever works. I've given you 2. You can use it on the test. Income, cost, and expense. If I see an asset on the income statement, I know that you did not use my mnemonic. Balance sheet, assets, liability, proprietorship. That's all. If I see an expense on here, I know you didn't use my mnemonic. Balance sheet, income statement. Now the other financial statement is the statement of owner's equity. Did you get a good picture of that? Okay.
Yes, I'm still filming you.
Okay. So the other financial statement is the statement of owner's equity. And it only shows us the new capital balance. The ending balance for the capital for that fiscal period, and the new balance for capital for the next month, quarter, year, whatever it is. On the statement of owner's equity, we take the capital, the beginning capital, and then we add the net income if we had a net income. We subtract the net loss if we had a net loss. We add an additional investment, and we need to subtract one other thing, the withdrawals. And that gives us our ending capital. When you prepare the third financial statement, which is the balance sheet, which is the ALP, Assets, Liability, Proprietorship, that's where we'll put the new capital. What does proprietorship mean? It's an
Owner's
old
equity.
word.
Oh.
We used to call,
Claims.
well, we used to call capital proprietorship, owner's equity. I still like the P because I don't think the aloe word works as well, because there's an E in there. And what might you think
Expense.
goes on the balance sheet is expense if we use the aloe, A-L-O-E. The aloe plant lives on forever too. These are temporary accounts. They're going to melt away. We're eventually going to close them several chapters from now. The balance sheet are the rock accounts. They'll be here forever, like the Out Mountains. They're not going away. They're permanent accounts. And we'll see that term, I don't remember whether we see it in chapter 3, but we'll see it a little bit later. Specific questions about chapter 2. It made it a little easier to see the debits and the credits when we used the T accounts, didn't we?
Yes.
The T accounts will be a tool that you'll use forever in accounting. If it's a complicated transaction or you're making a correcting entry, you'll always refer back to the T accounts. The expanded accounting equation, which our test will be on Tuesday, that we did in chapter 1, you'll never use that again.
The test is gonna have the expanded,
Yes.
and then
It's not going to have the T accounts on it. You're going to have the expanded accounting equation, the trial balance, the income statement of owner's equity, or the income statement, the statement of owner's equity, and then the balance sheet.
about terms or anything like that.
Yes, there's multiple choice and true false. Do you have your test review? If you don't have it, make sure you bring it on Thursday because we'll go by that, and I'll put it up on the projector. But I gave it to you. It should be 4 pages. Test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, and the final. I already told you everything that's on the test. Test, plural. There's no surprises. I don't like any surprises. So I already have my test made up, and that's what's going to be on them. Look at the summaries. Maybe look at the summaries before Thursday, so if you have specific questions, you can ask me. Are you filming just me? Oh, don't do that, Doug. Just film the projector up there. Those poor people at home, the online students. Do we have any questions, though? Any questions about 2?
No.
All right, now we are going to go to chapter 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go ahead and stop that if you would, Doug.
Do I just push this one?
No, push the red button.